Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. Let me remove this. Hi. Please hit the like button. Uh, Drop down. Make a comment if you choose. Stay in the clouds if you wish. Thank you for being here. I'm just going to give a little news of today. Some shocking news. Well, if you pay attention, it really shouldn't be shocking. It appears that the Supreme Court is going to strike down uh, Article 2 of the Voting Rights Act, which ensures that Black people get representation. So they hear this the day after. There's a big commotion about the Young Republican Party, their little club or their little chapter says things about agreeing with slavery, putting people in the gas chamber, that rape is awesome, and all. Calling Black people watermelon people, niggas. If I want to see a if I want to see monkeys play with balls, I'll go to the zoo in reference to a NBA basketball game, all of this type of stuff. So we have Brett Kavanaugh up there talking about, well, yes, they did put Section 2 as protection for some states, but at this point, it wasn't meant to go forever. So at this point, is it even needed? This is what Brett Kavanaugh says. Now, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to play you a couple of clips from the arguments in the Supreme Court about ripping Section 2 out. Now, if the South wasn't so racist, they wouldn't have to have Section 2. But now the whole country is racist. So they definitely need Section 2. Now, oh, what is his name? Not Brett Kavanaugh. I got Brett Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court justice. He has been against the everything in the Voting Rights Act since he worked for Ronald Reagan in the 80s. Uh, he was the one who who stripped and was okay with stripping Title V out of the Voting Rights Act. So he has been a long hater of anyone of the Voting Rights Act and anyone having being cleared the right to vote. So we're going to play a little bit from those arguments, and you will be clear, you know, that this is the direction their questions are going. So let's me show you something you do not know. I don't know. Maybe you guys know it. Heard it being I haven't heard this being announced on the for-profit media as of yet. I haven't. I don't know if you have. But it appears that 4547, under the guise of celebrating the I think it's the Navy's 250th anniversary this Saturday, the same day that the No Kings protests will be going on. The same protests that they had in June, the same protests that the Republicans are calling the Hate America protests. That protest, the same protest that they did on 4547's birthday, where he had that those tanks squeaking down the streets talking about he's celebrating the military. So on this Saturday, he's celebrating another anniversary. I don't know if you heard about it, but yes, he's celebrating another anniversary of the military. And how is he going to do that? He's going to be shooting missiles into California from those warships that he has in the Gulf, that he's doing those illegal strikes in Venezuela, just murdering people for no reasons that he has proven. So to celebrate. So is this to celebrate or is this to intimidate? Your actual sitting president is poised to be shooting missiles into Camp Pendleton in California. Into California. So let me share this information with you. If you are unaware of it, tell a friend. Uh, One day there will be something you want to protest. So is what I always say. See, everybody think it's all about these illegal immigrants. No, it's about the illegalities of this administration. That's what it's about. So let me share this with you.
Donald Trump is planning on using Navy warships off the coast of San Diego in the Pacific Ocean to launch missiles into California, specifically to launch missiles into Camp Pendleton. This will coincide with the No Kings protests, which are taking place on Saturday, where they are expected to be particularly large in San Diego, as in many metropolitan areas across the country. Our sources have told us, and Midas Touch Network was the first to break this news, that Donald Trump is planning, under the pretext of a 250th anniversary celebration for the Marines, to conduct these naval marine exercises, which will involve shooting missiles into the territory of the United States in Camp Pendleton. Midas Touch was the first to break the story. California Governor Gavin Newsom then confirmed the steps that he was taking to fight back and mitigate the damage and destruction that could take place. This is how terrified the Trump regime is of the No Kings protest, and this is Donald Trump escalating actions against California by literally shooting missiles into Camp Pendleton in California. This had never before happened in United States history. The I-5 highway is expected to be shut down as well. J.D. Vance is expected to be leading this. They're calling it a ceremony and celebration, but it is clearly a show of force in order to intimidate the people living in California, and in my view, the No Kings protesters, the peaceful protesters who are going to be out and about. Here's the exclusive that the Midas Touch Network broke. Trump may launch missiles from warships into California this Friday and Saturday as part of what is being described as a vanity parade, and shut down portions of the I-5 highway during the No Kings protests. Sources tell Midas Touch the White House will shut down portions of the I-5 for Vice President J.D. Vance's Marine Corps Navy spectacle during the No Kings protests. This could trigger chaos, gridlock, and outrage as troops remain another casualty and victim of this government shutdown. The Trump regime is apparently finalizing plans, we learn, for 2 days of events under the pretext of the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Marine Corps. Sources close to Midas Touch describe the closure as part of a vanity parade that may involve Navy warships shooting live missiles into Camp Pendleton as a show of force. Governor Newsom responded to our reporting. It says, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance think that shutting down the I-5 to shoot out missiles from ships is how you respect the military. Put aside your vanity parade and pay our troops instead. Governor Newsom's press account writes, this would be an absurd show of force and totally uncalled for during a government shutdown when members of the military cannot even get a paycheck. This was a well-sourced story by our journalists at the Midas Touch Network. Aaron Parnas was the first to break this story that is since going viral across the entire United States. One of the things, if you look at the flight patterns and the flight restrictions for this Friday, Saturday, the 17th and the 18th. You'll see that temporary flight restrictions for special security reasons are now in place. That's expected to be because of the missiles that may be shot from these Navy warships into the Camp Pendleton military base. Horrific that I even have to say that. Since we reported, Los Angeles Times confirmed our earlier reporting. I-5 may be shut down due to concerns over live fire military event at Camp Pendleton. Parts of the I-5 may be closed beginning Friday over concerns Navy ships will fire live ordinances over the freeway during the military celebration. The potential closure would affect a section between Orange and San Diego counties, cutting off a major artery serving more than 80,000 daily travelers. Newsom's office criticizes the Trump administration for lack of coordination on the Camp Pendleton event featuring Vice President J.D. Vance and 15,000 attendees there. Just so you remember what it looked like in San Diego, tens of thousands of people, 30, 50,000 people, maybe more, showed up at the last No Kings protest that took place there. You remember how big the crowds were in San Diego. And we see the MAGA Republicans engaging in all sorts of intimidation tactics regarding No Kings protests, in addition to these military strikes that may be taking place inside the United States. I can't even believe I'm saying that sentence right there. MAGA Republican leaders all day yesterday, all day this morning, they've been saying No Kings is pro-Hamas. They say No Kings is pro-Antifa.
What is pro Hamas? He's trying to say if you go to any of these protests that you are pro Hamas. At the same time, he, 4547 himself, is being pro Hamas in this moment. You know, this Israel ceasefire that he has allegedly garnered the peace in the Middle East. Do you know that you have a pig face from Lindsey Graham out here saying that Israel should go back in and root out all of the rest of the Hamas because they have been. It is said that Hamas has come back and they have been dealing with the gangs who were ratting them out during this 2.5 year, or they call them clans. But Mr. 49, 45, 47 is saying no, the Hamas should rid Palestine of gangs. So while he's calling United States citizens pro-Hamas, he is being pro-Hamas and said that the Hamas leaders in Palestine should be allowed to go after all the gangs that are in Hamas. I mean, that are in Palestine. That's now he's being pro-Hamas. If you didn't know, now you know. But he wants you to think if you protest all the bullshit that's going on in this government, that somehow if we tell our stupid uneducated Republican MAGA voters that you're pro-Hamas, that's what it is. This is totally disgusting. Let me see if there's any more. It seems like, oh, and this Scott Besson, this little ignorant bitch. Okay, it seems like we have some of their talking points.
As they rip away healthcare and education, as prices are going up across the board, This is what these fascists are saying. Here, play this clip.
This No Kings rally this weekend, that's the blue hair anthropomorphic, experiment that's going to happen up here in Washington, D.C.
I encourage you to watch. We call it the Hate America rally that'll happen Saturday. Let's see who shows up for that. I bet you see pro-Hamas supporters. I bet you see Antifa types. I bet you see the Marxists in full display, the people who don't want to stand and defend the foundational truths of this republic.
This crazy No Kings rally this weekend, which is going to be the farthest left, the hardest core, the most unhinged in the Democratic Party, which is, a big title. And, no kings equal no paychecks. No kings equal no paychecks.
Clearly, the Democrat Party of today is not your grandfather's Democrat Party. They care about one thing and one thing only, appeasing the radical pro-terrorist wing of their party.
The same crowd planning to protest at their I Hate America rally this weekend.
Well, one of the things that I hope Cash Patel and Pam Bondi are looking into is, the funding of these groups. Who pays for the buses to bus a lot of these folks in, who pays for the trucks that have riot gear that they hand out to the peaceful protesters. Again, I hope.
What is he talking about? What buses that have riot gear? What is he talking about? Absolutely lies. This is why instead of the 25th Amendment, somebody should be looking at Article 2 of the Executive Branch, Section 4 in the Constitution, which could take this whole administration out of power. The President, the Vice President, and all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, and other high crimes and misdemeanors. Since J.D. Vance has such a novel idea of the military shooting into American cities on a day that is already known that people are going to be protesting under the guise of some type of military celebration while the government is shut down, and they hadn't even equated for paying the military. They belatedly decided to take money from the Pentagon and pay the military, and that is out of order as well, because all payments, Congress has the power of the purse. So every payment has to go and be approved through Congress. These motherfuckers are doing whatever they choose to do. How are you going to send the military out and have not even determined that you were going to pay them in the first place? Okay. This is amazing.
They are peaceful here, the No Kings protest, whatever. But again, it's absurd.
We shouldn't have to wait until the Hate America rally this weekend.
All right, I've got some news for you. Let me show you a tale of two headlines.
Hold on, that's a commercial.
Speaking on CNN last night about the No Kings protests, and he says this is a Love America rally. So true, so true. Here, play this clip.
I would just add as an example, this Saturday, millions of people are going to come out on a No Kings Day. Maybe more people coming out than any time in American history. Speaker Johnson said this is a Hate America rally because people are coming out expressing their concerns about massive cuts to healthcare and the movement toward authoritarianism. Not a Hate America, it's a Love America. But the point is, instead of attacking each other in that way, in my view, what we got to do is lay the issues out on the table. We got a healthcare crisis, do we not, friends? All right, we're the only country not to guarantee healthcare at all. How do we move to a healthcare system that guarantees healthcare to a human right? Make sense to you? All right. 70, 80 years ago in this country, if you went to a public college or university, you know what your tuition was? Zero. And yet you got all of this increased worker productivity, all of the technology. People can't afford to send their kids to college. They can't afford childcare. People are paying outrageous costs in housing. How do we build the millions of units of affordable low-income housing that we desperately need? How do we save the planet for our kids and transform our energy system away from fossil fuel? Do you know that millions of senior citizens in this country are trying to get by on $15,000 a year or less? They helped build this country. They fought for our country. They're in nursing homes, which are horrible places right now because they're underfunded, understaffed. We are the richest country in the history of the world. How do we provide a good quality life for our kids? Should we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major nation? Highest rate of senior poverty? Those are the issues. You disagree with me? Fine. You got a better idea than mine? Great. Let's go forward. Let's discuss those issues. Let's not attack each other personally, that we're un-American, that we hate America. That's nonsense. That just divides us. Let's come together. Let's discuss the real issues. Let us create the kind of extraordinary country that we know we can create.
Then you have Democratic Senator Chris Murphy making the following video. Let's play this clip.
So the big No Kings protest is coming up on Saturday. This is a really important day. It's a day for this country to stand up and say that we've had enough with the destruction of democracy, the building of Trump's censorship state, the evisceration of our healthcare. But it's pretty incredible how Republicans are showing their true colors. They're showing us how much they hate democracy. They're showing us how much they hate free speech. The rhetoric is ramped up from Republican leaders in the last few days. These aren't sort of fringe actors in the conservative movement. These are the leaders of the House Republican Conference calling the protesters that are going to show up on Saturday terrorists, saying that No Kings is a hate rally. What Republicans are basically telling you is that they hate free speech. They hate free speech when it isn't conservative speech, when it isn't pro-Trump speech. If you offer any criticism of this government, then you hate America. That's ridiculous, un-American, and unpatriotic. The fact is, our country was founded on the idea that everyone has a right, a God-given right, a constitutionally protected right to speak up and protest your government, especially when you think they have become lawless and corrupt. And so the idea that the people who are showing up to protest Trump are terrorists, trying to get you to stay home. They're trying to get you to believe that simply by peacefully protesting your government, you're inciting violence. That is, of course, not true, but their tactics will work if we don't show up. Their tactics will end up in our democracy being destroyed if by labeling you as terrorists, we decide to stay indoors. And so let's be there. Let's be there peacefully but forcefully protesting Trump's corruption. Let's show up in big numbers, whether it be at the rally in Washington, D.C. or at rallies all across this country. This is important. You don't back down when bullies try to silence you. You stand up and you speak up.
And then finally, you have Robert De Niro, who will be out at a No Kings protest. Here's what he has to say. Play this clip.
The original No Kings protest was 250 years ago. Americans decided they didn't want to live under the rule of King George III. They declared their independence and fought a bloody war for democracy. We've had 2.5 centuries of democracy since then, often challenging, sometimes messy, always essential. And we've fought in 2 world wars to preserve it. Now we have a would-be king who wants to take it away, King Donald I. Fuck that. We're rising up again this time, non-violently, raising our voices to declare no kings. I'm Robert De Niro, asking you to stand up and be counted in the nationwide No Kings protest on October 18th. Visit nokings.org to find, volunteer, or host a protest near you. We're all in this together, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, you may be wondering, well, how is Midas Touch Network breaking that story? Aren't there like national...
Okay, so that's what I wanted to tell you. If you are unaware, I think many of us are unaware. This is crazy. This is insane. What this government is doing to come through Robert, exactly, to shut down freedom of speech, your right to protest your government. They have the audacity to try to pretend that this is going to be some violent protest. When the left have protests, you have not seen them be violent when they're protesting their government. Who you have seen be violent are the people on January 6th. But they said that they were showing love. This is the stuff that 4547 has come out and said about the January 6th rioters, that they were showing love and for their country as they tried to subvert the whole election, as they had a news and was chanting hang Mike Pence as he pardoned all of their criminal convictions, as they beat cops, as they were spraying bear mace on people. Now you have ICE who are coming into neighborhoods, and they are the aggressors in all of these situations. They are the aggressors. They come out periodically. People in Portland are behind the lines. They rush into the crowd, grab somebody, and drag them beyond the line and into their ICE facilities. But they want you to believe that people in Portland are violent. We know where the violence is coming from. Let me share something else with you. Before I share that, we saw 4547 in the office with Milei, the president of Argentina. Now, I have been reporting, everyone has been reporting that the United States Treasury is going to give this failing president $20 billion. Come to find out, they gave him $40 billion. So if you didn't know that, if you found that out later in the game, they gave $40 billion to someone who's already got billions of dollars from uh, oh, from oh God, who did he get he got $40 billion. He got $40 billion for us after already getting billions of dollars from uh, agency, world help agencies. I can't remember exactly which one. I'll Google it. That he's already ruined. Now they say that this money that he has gotten from the U.S. is basically gone. He's going to fuck that money off too, because he's using the same protocol that he fucked all of this other money off. Let me see, who did Millet get money from? Let me see. Let me share this with you. And understand, Scott Besson thought that this was a good idea. Why? Because it would help out his personal friend. So let me, another billionaire who is over there trying to get rare earth minerals. Let me share that with you. So if you don't know, you will know. Okay. Trump's Argentina bailout enriches one well-connected U.S. billionaire. $20 billion U.S. rescue package is a gift for a hedge fund manager with ties to Treasury Secretary Scott Besson. Acid face. Look like he has acid poured over his face. Uh, I don't know what is up with these billionaires and their skin. They must have to sell their skin to get these billions or something. Him and Peter Thiel. The story was originally published by Popular Information, a Substack publication which you can subscribe to here. Last week, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announced a $20 billion package to rescue the Argentinian economy. The risky taxpayer financial deal, which involves trading U.S. dollars for Argentine pesos, has little upside for the ordinary American. Argentina is not a significant U.S. trading partner, and its economy, long in turmoil, has little impact on the United States. However, Bessent's announcement has made economical benefits for one American, billionaire hedge fund manager Rob Citron, who has placed large bets on the future of the Argentine economy. Citron, the co-founder of Discovery Capital Management, is also a friend and former colleague of Bessent, a fact that has not been previously reported in U.S. media outlets. Would this be the for-profit U.S. media outlet? They ain't telling y'all that. Citron, by his own account, helped make Bessent very wealthy. Since Javier Milei, a right-wing populist, became president of Argentina in December of 2023, Citron has invested heavily in Argentina. Citron has bought Argentine debt and purchased equity in numerous Argentine companies that are closely tied to the performance of the overall economy. Due to Argentina's massive debt load and chaotic economy history, in 2023, Argentine inflation rate was over 200%. Citron purchased Argentine bonds with an interest rate of nearly 20%. Citron has declined to detail exactly how much of the 2.8 billion he manages in how he managed is invested in Argentina. Citron has in Argentina. Citron, who is also a majority owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers, is effectively betting on Milei's right-wing uh, economic program, which emphasizes deregulation, and you don't care what happens to the people. Let the business do whatever they want. Let them merge however they want, no matter how much that's going to increase prices for the people. Let these big corporations like Elon Musk AI factory pollute the air because he's trying to do it so quick that he put up these poisonous turbines in a black neighborhood in Memphis, poisoning the residents around it. Deregulation and sharply reduced government spending. Citron reviewed the probability of default as minuscule, even though Argentina has defaulted on its debts many times in the past, defaulted on the debts of other entities that had tried to bail Argentina out. This is what I'm saying. In the short term, this appears to be a savvy investment. After taking office, Milei fired tens of thousands of government workers. Uh, Tens of thousands of government workers. So Milei actually had 4547's plan. Maybe that's why 4547 is propping him up with our tax dollars because they were full on with this plan. And remember at CPAC, Milei was the one who came out with the what is it? What do they call that? I keep on wanting to say a wood chipper with a chainsaw and passed it off to Elon Musk to come in and do to our government what he did to his own government. And they were smiling and laughing and like it was, it's like this, isn't this fabulous? This is who Milei is. So maybe that's why 4547 don't want you to see what he's doing to our government is going to do the same to the US economy. If you don't know. If you don't know. But at the same time, they're telling you that they do not have money to shore up healthcare. They're telling you that they don't have money to continue Medicaid. But they got money for this bullshit, to make sure there's a whole lot of deregulation for billionaires, so billionaires can plug their AI into your water system, your electric grid, and then the electric companies can play dumb and like, oh, ooh, it's so much electricity being used, we're gonna have to hike the rate so it can be equal for all. Oh, but we're going to ignore that these billionaire AI companies is the reason why there's so much electricity being used. So, but we just going to spread it out among everybody equally and evenly. That's one company, that's one house. Their rates are going to be the same. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. Okay. In the short term, this appears to be a savvy investment. After taking office, Milei fired tens of thousands of government workers, cut spending on welfare and research. Does that sound familiar? The HUD cuts. I mean the Section 8 cuts that are coming. The what is it called? The food stamps, SNAP benefits that are cut. The actual Medicare and Medicaid cuts. Now they're actually cutting subsidies for people who can't get on Medicaid but are purchasing the Affordable Care Act. But they can no longer give those subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, instead of making those subsidies permanent, because they know that they are doing nothing to enrich the pay of the American worker. As a matter of fact, they are the main person who is putting the American worker out of the jobs, this administration. So if you don't understand that, it's because you're not paying attention. Okay. Let me see. Inflation was reduced to around 40%, which spurred economic growth and foreign investment. Argentina's economic rebound contributed to Discovery Capital's 52% return in 2024. Then it all came crashing down. The austerity measures slowed economic growth, and unemployment spiked nearly 8%. Now, if you're not wondering why the unemployment rates and the jobs rates are being hidden from you, if you wonder why when those jobs numbers came out, 45, 47, fired the woman who was responsible for giving the world the factual information, why he fired her, and now they're talking about not giving out the jobs numbers for a while, maybe twice a year, maybe quarterly. If you wonder why they're hiding that from you, it's because some 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 economic professionals feel that while many are worried about the United States being in, hold on, being in or being near a recession, we are more likely to go into a depression, and every state is not going to feel it the same way, because poor people in Mississippi, in Louisiana, just because you're not feeling it in New York and California, you have a you have more money in your states that you won't feel it, because your state and federal government align, put things in order. Your state can increase minimum wage for people who work for the states or even work during COVID. The states were the ones who increased minimum wage jobs, even at places, fast food places, so these jobs wouldn't go under. So you may not feel it in your state, but understand that somebody is in the United States is feeling it. And they're trying to pretend like it's not happening because you're not feeling it. But this is only a sham. This is only a sham that is going to widen and deepen as this administration continue down this path of austerity. So, millions had harder times making ends meet after Milley reintroduced or eliminated subsidies for transportation, medicine, and other necessities. So we are about to eliminate healthcare subsidies. Milley popularity slump, leading to speculation that his party could be routed in the 2025 midterms election. Now, if you weren't paying attention, when 47 had him up there giving him that 40 billion, he said that if Milei was not reelected, he would stop giving him money. So, in other words, he tried to interfere with this midterm 2025 election of Milei, saying that if you guys don't vote, and then you will be on your own. That's what 47 insinuated, that he will not give Milei any money if he's not reelected. So if he is reelected, is 47 saying he's going to give this loser more of our tax dollar, threatening the Argentinian people that they better reelect him. But isn't that threat more to us? Because he said they wouldn't get more dollars if he's not elected. So if he's elected, he's going to take more of your tax dollars and give to this motherfucker. If you're not paying attention, I think you better start. Okay. This created an economic panic with investors dumping the peso and liquidating other Argentine assets. Milei has desperately attempted to keep inflation in check. Last week, Argentina's central bank spent more than $1 billion. Now, this is the first loan. Argentina's central bank spent more than $1 billion to shore up the peso, but Argentina was running out of foreign currency. That spelled trouble for Citron, the investor, the hedge fund guy who Besson is personally helping out. This is why we're over in Argentina, because if Argentina failed, it is neither here nor there for the United States. But all of a sudden, you got two billionaires who are trying to shore up each other with your tax dollars. The Besson and Trump administration came to the rescue, floating a $20 billion economic package that helps stabilize the Argentine peso and function as a political lifeline for Milei. In September, days before Besson announcement, Citron purchased more Argentine bonds. So if he was losing on those bonds, why after right before Besson says that they're going to bail them out, is he going in and buying more bonds? Because he got, like everything in this administration, they let the billionaires know what they are doing so the billionaires can make more money. Like all of that insider trading to tell them when to buy and when to sell. A best personal and professional relationship with Citron has spanned decades. In a May 14th appearance on the Goldman Sachs Exchange podcast, Citron revealed how he delivered a financial windfall for Besson. They were both working for investor George Soros, not George Soros, in 2013 when Citron convinced Besant and Soros to bet on the U.S. dollar against the Japanese yen. I think there's special times. I think there's special times every 5 or 10 years where there's really a spectacular trade and investment that we that we that we then will concentrate in a meaningful way. In 2013, the dollar yen were made over $1 billion, where we made over $1 billion long dollar yen, where we made over $1 billion long. I think they mean long dollaring the yen. And in fact, we discussed it quite a bit with George, and I kind of convinced George and Scott Besson at the time to go big in that. And Scott says I'm responsible for 75% of his bonus at Soros, kind of joking over the time. So that's where he made his most of his money. Scott Besson, who sits up there and let his boss say that George Soros should be jailed on RICO charges, including his son. So maybe that's what has Scott Besson being so obedient to this failing administration. Now, this motherfucker just feels like he can come in and help his buddy out with our tax dollars, because this man made him so much money and y'all ain't did shit for him. Fuck your health care. Die, bitch. Die. You ain't did shit for me. You ain't put a dime in my pocket. And then after he leaves George Soros and open his own investment company, he lose 90% of the money in his own investment company. So if it had not been for this guy, Besson probably wouldn't be a billionaire at all. See, he said he's worth, jokingly, he made him 75% of his wealth. Jokingly, without him steering him in the direction to make money, Besson loses money. And the problem is he's giving our money away to another loser. So if you didn't know, let me drop the link to this article in the chat. You can read the rest of this. So there are a couple of more things that I will share with you. This is the story that it's not $20 million, it's $40 million. Billion, not million. Who needs a piddly little 40 million? We're talking billions. You hardly even hear the word millions anymore because everything is about billions. So let's understand why it is not 20 billion, it's 40 billion.
Previously, the United States was going to send $20 billion of your taxpayer dollars to Argentina to bail the country out. Now it's just doubled to $40 billion. According to Scott Besson, he said, quote, that would be a total of $40 billion for Argentina. He described the situation as a, quote, economic Monroe doctrine. Essentially, the United States is using economic power rather than any other military power, etc. And while a lot of this is contingent upon Javier Milei, who is a Trump ally, current president of Argentina, winning re-election and doing well in the upcoming elections in Argentina, but just know your taxpayer dollars, 40 billion of it, is now heading towards another country. This is not necessarily an America First mentality from the Trump administration. As always, spread the word. Full updates on my Substack, linked in bio. Subscribe for free. Follow along, stay up to date on all the news you need to know about. We have some big news right now.
If you are not subscribed to him, I suggest you on Instagram, Aaron Paranis. Aaron Paranis. If you're not subscribed to him on Instagram, he does great work. He gets a lot of scoops. As a matter of fact, he's part of the Midas Touch Network. As I gave that story about the military doing a strike inside of California, this is where the story originated from. He broke the story. Now, we have a colonel resigns from the military because of 4547 and urges fellow members to avoid illegal orders. More than 170 American citizens detained by ICE. Report Nazi symbols. Somebody is something. Reports of Nazi symbols in Dave Taylor's office could have been an optical illusion as investigation continues. Who is? Let me see what he's talking about.
We have some news right now. There was a swastika found in a member of Congress's office, Congressman Dave Taylor, and now there's a Capitol Police investigation. And well, the details that we're learning, according to Fox News, are stunning and hard to believe. So apparently a number of congressional offices received this American flag, which had a swastika in the center of it, from an undetermined group sometime in the past year. A number of other offices threw these flags away because of the swastika. Seemingly Dave Taylor's office did not. One source told Fox News that this flag was akin to an optical illusion because apparently it was hard to spot the swastika from the naked eye. But folks, anyone could look at the picture and see the swastika. Now, this to me looks pretty clear. This is not an optical illusion, but this was in Dave Taylor's office on Capitol Hill, and Capitol Police is currently.
And he kept it there and tried to pretend like, oh, you not seeing what you're seeing. It's an optical illusion. So he breaks many stories. Now, White House backs off plans to shut down parts of Interstate 5 for vanity parade. Laura Trump suggests that she herself should be the Turning Points USA Super Bowl musical performance to go up against Bad Bunny because Bad Bunny speaks Spanish and he's from Puerto Rico. And half of these ignorant motherfuckers don't know that being from Puerto Rico makes you a full-blooded United States American citizen. So, Laura Trump, who sings like a billy goat, who sings like a, I would, let me, one more.
We have some major news right now. According to CNN, a federal judge in Illinois called a snap hearing today because she has serious concerns that the administration and federal agents in Chicago are not following her order, blocking them from using essentially force and violent encounters with protesters and journalists in Chicago. She said, quote, she's not happy. She's really not happy. And she ordered all federal agents that have body cameras to have them on during encounters with protesters, really at all times now. While she initially required all agents to have body cameras, that will take some time. So she had some flexibility for those who already have body cameras on them to have them on at all times. This is pretty significant. A federal judge is very concerned with violence against protesters perpetrated by Trump's ICE agents, by federal agents in Chicago, meant to conduct Operation Midway Blitz in the city. Spread the word. Full updates on my Substack, as always, linked in bio, so subscribe for free. Follow along, stay updated on all the news that you need to know about. More to come.
Okay, I'm going to drop his link in the description box. He is always up on news and he always gets it first. Here is Aaron Paranis link, and it will also be in my description box for this video. So now we're going to talk about the Supreme Court. Let me Paranas. This is his link. It's in my description box. we're going to talk about the Supreme Court. Supreme Court Justice Roberts, for many years, have been against the Voting Rights Act that was signed in 1964. Before I get into that, you guys may be wondering, Ronnie Q, hey, no pressure. It is good to see you. Uh, you guys may be wondering, Ronnie Q, what is this on your thumbnail? That is a big tunnel. And you see the uniforms in the back. If you look at the one with the high boots and the uniform in the far left, who is that? What do these uniforms represent? And who is this in the far left? Okay, so this is one of these big tunnels that they wanted to build over in Germany. This is the you know how they have a little markup of something that they're going to build, whether it be a skyscraper or whatever. This is the markup of what he wanted to build. It was never built. You see the little piece up on the top. This is what he wanted to build. So, 4547 had a whole lot of billionaires in his office, and he was talking to these billionaires about the money that it was going to cost to build the ballroom, and you guys have been really helping me out. I think he said something about you gave $150 million, and you guys have been helpful, and he wanted to show them something else. He wanted to show them some tunnels. You see the little thing. These are going to be huge. They're going to be huge. It's not, they're going to go over roads. His tunnels. He wanted to show him his tunnels. His tunnels. So the absolute audacity. He's so unoriginal. So we see who he's taking a play from. He actually had 3 of these tunnels. He said, let you see him talk about the tunnels himself. Let me let you see him talk about all of the money he's spending on the ballrooms and how much you guys are helping him out.
Good care of the Oval Office is now at a level that it's never seen before. We take really great care of it. They weren't taking good care of it for 4 years, I'll tell you that.
I'm just thinking as
he's talking about how good the Oval Office is with all of that gaudy gold layered shit over everything, because they weren't taking good care of the Oval Office at all until he got in here. He's talking about vanity projects. He's talking about bullshit, as people are about over 20 billion, billion people, no, 20 million people are about to lose their health care. This is what is on the mind of this nincompoop. As Roosevelt is going in and closing down agencies and firing people that now the Constitution is says that the government is supposed to support the general welfare and secure the justice of liberties to ourselves and our prosperities. That's what the Constitution says. But they act like, no, you have to do it for yourself. Government is not responsible for any of this. And we are just responsible for, having pomp and circumstances. And so he is so tacky. Who invites someone to their house? And no matter what they have done to fix up their house, do you invite visitors to your house and say, look at this picture, I pay so much for this picture, and I take care of, and look at my carpet, I vacuum my carpet twice a day, I have the Roomba and I put it on high so it can just run through my house? Who does that? Look at my silverware. Come look at my dishes. Come look at my. Who does that when they go through their house? He's a nincompoop. Okay. Let me show you more, and let me show you what he has to say about his tongue.
We had the, we'll call presidential ballroom that'll expand the space for tens of thousands of people will be able to come during the course of a year if you add it all up and have the kind of space that you need. It's very exciting. To me, it's exciting as a person in real estate because you'll never get a location like this again.
Then Donald Trump goes into this.
You'll never get a location about this again. Tens of millions of people will be able to enjoy this ballroom. It excites me being a contractor because God knows that we need this place. There's going to be no place like this in the whole United States of America, and it's for you, the billionaires.
A special place. What can I say?
That we're attacking to the government, the people's house. But the people will not be able to enjoy it. It's for you, the billionaire. What does that tell you? Does that sound like someone who is not going to plan to enjoy it? It won't even be built probably by the end of his term. Does that sound like someone who is building that for everyone else to enjoy and he's not going to be able to enjoy it? Does that sound like someone who's planning to leave office talking about a goddamn ballroom? Some tacky shit that he's about to attach to the people's house?
So we have to take care of it. And we have little things like at the Lincoln bedroom, the bathroom was done by the Truman family and, long time ago. And it's done in a green tile and it's done as in a style that was not exactly Abe Lincoln. It's a style that's not good. So it's actually Art Deco, and Art Deco doesn't go with, 1850 and Civil Wars and all of the problem. But what does do is statuary marble. So I ripped.
This motherfucker sitting up here talking. Of course, we know everything is marble. You think marble is the end all, do all in decor? I'm pretty sure you're not working with any designer. Everything is marble, 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 marble. So he's sitting up here talking about decor. Because marble is one of the most expensive hard stones that he can think of to try to be impressive. While over 20 million people in the United States lose their health care, while he has told the Republicans to do not negotiate with Democrats at all during this government shutdown, while air traffic controllers are not showing up to work for free. While he said he don't even know if he's going to pay people who are on furlough over this shutdown. I think we're in day 16 of the shutdown, the longest shutdown that we've had in American history, I do believe, was under his last administration of 35 days. It seems like he's going to break his record as usual for being deplorable. Let's continue.
It apart and we built the bathrooms. It's absolutely gorgeous and totally in keeping with that time because the Lincoln bedroom is so incredible for those of you that have seen it. We have so many different downstairs. We have the palm room and they had 1-by-1 tiles that were put there probably 20 years ago by somebody. And they were broken and bad. It's embarrassing. And I took it out and we did a magnificent book-matched statuary marble floor. We fixed the room and we put up the right, the proper lighting and chandeliers. And it looks incredible. People walk up, they can't believe how beautiful it is. And so we like to fix it up. And it's a little bit of my heritage, fix up and clean up and make it nice. And
a little bit of his heritage. Does it of his heritage? Okay, whatever.
we're doing that with the White House. So,
and again, while Trump is giving the speech, the MAGA Republicans in the House of Representatives are off on vacation. They're not working.
Okay, I've talked about that. Let's get to more of this. What he actually said out of his mouth is what I want you to see.
This clip.
And so we're going to have a phenomenal ballroom. This is going to be one of the best anywhere in the world. There won't be anything like it, actually. And it's 4 sides of glass, or glass, beautiful glass, but totally appropriate in color and in window shape and everything else with the White House, moldings. So it's going to be very much in keeping with the White House. You know, a new thing is you build a super modern building next to an old fashioned building. And I think that's good, but I don't have the courage to do that. It's not good for here. So everything's very, we would literally not even have state dinners because.
When has there not been state dinners? We'll finally be able to have state dinners. We really weren't able to have state dinners. How is he going to have state dinners when this ballroom is just being built? If the ballroom is he probably have people working 24/7, and he wants you to believe that he's making this with his own money, when we know he don't pay his own contractors for the work that he has done in many and most of his properties. So who you think paying for this ballroom? And if it's done if it's put up quickly, how many people and what type of work hours do you think that these people who are putting up this ballroom are working? So how much more are you going to have to pay people who are working all different hours, all long hours after regular quitting hours to put together this ballroom? How much extra you think that you're going to have to pay these people? See, you can't get AI to do this. You're going to have to pay. Who you think paying? And what are all of these state dinners he's talking about having? He has 3 years left in the presidency. Get the fuck out of here.
Because it's not set up. But for all those years they wanted it, and now they're going to get it. And because of you, they're going to get it. And me too. We're all in this together. And I mean,
because of you, they're going to get it. Now, he said he was paying for this himself. Now he's talking to billionaires and trying to make you believe that these billionaires, because of you, we're going to have this grand ballroom. So maybe that's a drop in the bucket that they have to pay so he can't fuck up their businesses like he fucks up everyone else's businesses.
And I have so many friends, and so many of you have been really, really generous. I mean,
and Donald Trump makes this weird statement about the press. Here, play this clip.
What you've done is very important, and we'll have a little dinner, and we'll ask the press to now go home to your wives, family, say hello to them. If I don't like you, don't even bother.
And then he goes on this.
We're rich. We don't have to be bothered. Then let's get into the tunnels. Let's get into the tunnels.
About Lady Liberty, and then he holds up this triumphant arch. Now, the triumphant arch was something that Hitler really wanted to build as kind of one of the centerpieces of Germania. It was never built, but there are all these photos of Hitler wanting this triumphant arch and being obsessed about it over and over again. Why the hell do we have this vile human being in the Oval Office holding triumphant arches and golden ballrooms while Americans are suffering right now. It is so despicable. Here's what he says. Play this clip.
This is just a model of what it would look like in either of the three, any of the three sizes, which is right here. I don't know if you can see it. So that's Lady Liberty. Lady, did you ever hear of Lady Liberty? On top. But, so the sizes would be very different. Now here's Lincoln, and this is sort of facing this way. And so, you know, this is a direct line. They did this, they didn't do that. So this would be, you know, small, medium, and large.
So this is what your president is doing, entertaining billionaires who are getting all of the government contracts from him and his administration. He's doing his show. I call them tunnels. Their art is him replicating this image of Hitler showing his Germania arches. So if you didn't know that was going on in your government, now you know. The link is in my description box. I have it under tunnels, not arches. Now, there is something else that you would be interested in what your government is doing while your government is trying to do while nobody's watching. But it seems like Rolling Stone has been watching, and here's an article from Rolling Stone. I've been meaning to show this for the past 3 days. Republicans aren't just cutting health care; they're taking your sick leave too. GOP-controlled legislators have rolled back and narrowed voter-approved sick leave policies. Airport workers and supporters march at Ronald Reagan's National Airport on March 7, 2023. They are marching for paid sick days. Now, that was approved. Americans are sick people. Among their economic peers, they expect to live shorter lives, experience higher rates of chronic disease, and spend more on their care and upkeep. The United States is the most expensive, cost the most in healthcare, and have the worst outcome of any modern developed nation. Even though you're paying more, the United States public is sicker than their counterparts who pay way less for healthcare. That is a fact and has been a fact for decades. The baseline necessities for maintaining a healthy human body over the course of a lifetime are often a luxury. Nevertheless, 1 in 5 Americans lack the ability to take a paid sick day from work if they fall ill. Healthcare, from ease of access to programs like Medicaid to a woman's ability to access abortion care, is governed by a patchwork of increasingly complex state-level laws and policies. Sick leave is no different. Across the private sector and the state and local governments, around 26.5 million employees do not have access to paid sick time, according to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics released this year. The disparity is concentrated among low-income, part-time, and service industry workers, only about half of whom have access to paid sick days. Among the lowest 10% of the earners, only 41% have paid sick leave, while 94% of the top 25% of earners have it. There's no federal law guaranteeing what in most developed countries is a uncontested, uncontroversial workers' right. In fact, even as voters push to codify sick leave policy into local law, This year alone, at least 3 Republican-controlled states are attempting to roll back leave provision. In Missouri, voters overwhelmingly approved a referendum guaranteeing statewide paid sick leave and an increase to the state's minimum wage. Shortly after the mandate went into effect, Republicans in the legislature repealed it outright. In Nebraska, Republicans tackled an amendment to a similar law, also passed by referendum, that significantly narrowed the pool of businesses covered and which employees were entitled to the benefit. The amendment also stripped the employees of the right to sue over the enforcement of the law. In Alaska, the state's Republican administration worked to limit the scope of its own ballot-approved sick leave law via regulations instituted by the Alaska Department of Labor and Workforce Development. So while Susan Collins is not Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski is approving this big bloated bill, talking about she was working for her Alaska constituents. She's not working for them to get any sick leave. 57% of the people voted for it. Missouri State Minority Leader Doug Beck, a Democrat, tells Rolling Stone of his state's referendum. 109 of the 163 representative districts, which would be a supermajority, voted for it. 20 out of 34 state seats voted for it, and 6 out of 8 congressional seats voted for it. So it's pretty much a mandate. Republicans overturned that. So while they talk about what they're doing, because 45, 47 was voted in, and they try to lie and say that he had some super man won the race. If you take out the people who voted for a third party candidate who was never going to win, he would not have won this election. Now, these people actually won on a supermajority mandate, and the Republicans just set up and overturned that. So, see, they they tell you about a mandate on one side, and then they sit up and turn over real mandates if it has something to do with helping the regular person. If it has something to do with helping a billionaire, oh, no, 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 they would never overturn those mandates. Beck says Democrats tried to negotiate a way to preserve coverage for as many Missourians as possible, even if it meant limiting what business would be subject to the law, only to have the rug pulled out from them at the last moment. We got there, and they reneged on their deal in the middle of the night, he added. In an era where politics tends to split the American population down the middle, support for the right to paid sick leave and other forms of paid medical leave is an issue that has astronomically high support across the United States. The lawmakers and advocates who spoke to the Rolling Stone agreed on one thing. It's not voters who are pushing for the weakening of leave policy, but business interests and corporate lobbies. The most vocal group against this was the restaurant industry, which relies on underpaid workers, Beck said, adding that the Missouri Chamber of Commerce has also lobbied heavily against the legislation. Dan Holgridge, founding director of the advocacy group Paid Leave for All, has been fighting for federal law guaranteeing sick leave since 2019. There's been a bill announced in Congress forever that has never gotten a vote, she tells Rolling Stone. I know in the case of paid leave, paid family medical leave, it was largely the Chamber of Commerce that was a big lobbying force against it. The general agreement, similar to arguments against increasing the minimum wage and other basic guarantees for working class people. It's the cost that few sick days a year would place undue burden on employers and small businesses. So it's not about you being sick. We're looking out for the businesses, not for human beings. If you die, and at least the business will survive, and they will be able to hire another low wage worker who won't have sick days, and we won't learn anything from not giving you sick days. You die on the business floor, we'll just roll you over and fill you in with someone else who has to die on at work. Okay. And states that have passed it, the vast majority of employers do not support it, Huckabridge said, pointing to data indicating that paid sick leave policies actually save businesses billions of dollars in the long run and improves health outcomes for individuals and families. There's piles of data that show it's good for businesses. This is good for public health. And yet, this country, in this country, we have refused to take action. The U.S. has a brief moment in clarity had a brief moment in clarity during the COVID-19 pandemic when the spread of deadly, easily transmittable virus sent the nation health apparatus into crisis. During the pandemic, the federal government passed the nation's first ever federal paid sick day and paid family leave policies, the Family's First Coronavirus Response Act, which was allowed to expire in 2023. Subsequent research found that the national policy prevents tens of thousands of daily coronavirus cases across the state, prevented tens of thousands of daily coronavirus cases across the United States that previously lacked paid sick leave policy. Businesses were fine with it. The sky didn't fall down. Businesses were fine, Bridge said. I think that the inaction on common sense bipartisan things like paid leave goes hand in hand with the gutting and the undermining of the little social safety net that we have. The state level tug of war over the expansion of paid medical leave policies is taking place amid federal bulldozing of the nation's primary health system. This summer, Republicans passed the largest cuts to Medicaid in the program's history, with the knowledge that over 10 million people are expected to lose access to their insurance over the next few years. The cuts are expected to decimate rural hospitals and community health clinics, which often rely on Medicaid funding to stay afloat and may be the only connection individuals have to medical care. The federal government is currently shut down after Republicans refuse to extend tax credits for the Affordable Care Act subsidies, which, if allowed to expire, would skyrocket the health care premiums of millions of Americans who purchase health care through the public marketplace. Republican Rosa DeLauro of Connecticut is the House sponsor for the Healthy Families Act, which would allow workers in businesses with 15 or more employees to earn up to 7 job-protected paid sick days each year. The act has been languishing in Congress without any advancement, as the Capitol sits in tense silence amid negotiations to reopen the government. America's health is at the forefront of her concerns. Take House members, Senate members. If somebody in their families gets sick, if they get sick, they will get well. You take as much time as you need. You don't even ask. You just do it. Your kid's sick, you go home and you take care of your kid, she tells Rolling Stone. It's just short-sightedness. It defies imagination that we would not think that people shouldn't have to choose between caring for their families, for themselves, or keeping their jobs. Everything Republicans are doing in the healthcare realm is making people more sick, and people will die, she adds. For healthcare advocates, the absence of paid leave policies are part of an intricate web of systemic failures that lead to worse outcomes for patients and higher public expenditures for their care. Those without leave policies are less likely to seek prompt care for illnesses. Working sick gets co-workers sick. Coupled with the lack of reliable access to health insurance or health insurance health insurance that still bleeds the patients dry, the quality of care facilities, and it is not hard to see why the U.S. lags behind its peers in practically every healthcare metric. So, I'm almost done. The big context is that our healthcare system is broken. It is rigged against working people, and it has been that way for a long time. Senator Tina Smith of Minnesota tells Rolling Stone, during the pandemic, there was a moment of clarity, policymakers said, but we can't let people but we can't let people we can't let people's lives fall apart. And so we put into place short a sort of the wait a minute. So we put into place sort of the petty common sense steps to help people. But of course, now we're seeing a huge backsliding as Republicans are trying to unwind all of that. No wonder people in this country are pissed off when we can't do something that is so clearly in the best interest of the majority of Americans. So they don't give a fuck about your sick leave. Now, Gavin Newsom Gavin Newsom went live about taking insulin prices in California down to $11. That is a really big announcement because a lot of people are unable to purchase insulin in many states because one vial of insulin could cost them over $100. I think in this announcement, he also talked about 45, 47 expected to shoot off missiles into California. Let me see if I can find that. Let me see. Here we go. Let me see. Here we go. Let me share a little bit of Newsom, what he had. I think he's talking about the National Guards being in California. Okay, let's get to this.
Of the president, his latest assertion that he was going to come to San Francisco. On what basis? He didn't even claim. There's no pretext anymore. Let's disabuse ourselves that there has to be a pretext with Donald Trump, that there's anything that would justify that. There's no existing protest at a federal building. There's no operation that's being impeded. I guess it's just a training ground for the President of the United States. It is grossly illegal. It's immoral. It's rather delusional. And increasingly, this president appears unhinged, unmoored by reality and facts. Seems listless. He seems, dare I say, in decline, cognitively and dare I say, forgive me, perhaps unfair, physically. And these are just rantings of someone that needs an intervention, needs some help, needs to be stabilized, dare I say. Well, as you know, laws are pretty clear in terms of the responsibility and accountability. Once someone has been accused and ultimately found guilty of these laws, they will be held to the letter of the law, and they should be prosecuted, period, full stop. And on this fundamental issue, I would refer to you to some of the work we've been doing in partnership with local government. Let me highlight two specific examples. An additional $1.1 billion of new grants that we provided the DAs across the state, sheriff's departments across the state, as well as local police departments that are part and parcel of a crime safety plan that focuses on retail. And so we're doing everything we can to help support local officials financially.
Nope, he didn't talk about. They're talking about the
interchangeable insulin. I recall one mother who talked about waking up in the middle of the night.
They're talking about the insulin,
worried about running out
which
of
is
insulin.
important.
I recall another person who said, even though I have good insurance, I'm always one drop vial away from being out of insulin. Nobody should feel that way, and that's why we're doing this work. It's my pleasure now to introduce Nikita Colom-Harris, who's living with type 1 diabetes.
There you go. Okay, let's get into the Supreme Court of it all. I want to share with you I want to share with you at the time that we hold on. At the time where we have unveiled a chat capture of Republicans, young Republicans in power, the argument at the Supreme Court about the voting Title 2 of the Voting Rights Act is if it's even needed now. As if nobody is discriminating anymore. The discrimination process is over, as you see in the young Republicans chat that they said that if people don't vote for them, they are going to send them to the gas chamber. So do you think that racism and bigotry is over in the Republican Party in the United States? So instead of addressing this, this is what the second in command has to say about these messages, not denying anything that they said in it. Understand that these were people on this chat stream from the ages of 18 to 40. And this is what your second in command had to say about all of people being called niggas, talking about rape being awesome, talking about this one guy said he wanted to rape somebody until they felt like committing suicide. So understand all of the shit that they said about Jewish people, putting people in ovens, imagining how they could actually kill people in ovens like they killed the Jews. And the Supreme Court had the absolute audacity to try to say that the voting right protections were just for a limited period of time. So when is this time going to be over? The time is going to be over when the time is over. And right now, the time isn't over. Brett Kavanaugh is one of the people who they had to spend so much time on for SA allegations his goddamn self. And who was so indignant that they had to question him about alleged XA allegations against him, who sat up there and was indignant because he lived a life that it was questionable if he had SA'd somebody. And how dare you question me about it? This is what JD Vance had to say about these messages.
Especially young boys, they tell edgy, offensive jokes like that's. The reality is that kids do stupid things. Especially young boys, they tell edgy, offensive jokes like that's what.
Understand, some of these people had a public office. Some of them are working in D.C. right now. Understand, 18 to 40. You know, they always want to make white people, grown men, seem like they're kids. They're always kids, but they want to try black kids as adults all the time. They just were saying that they should try 14-year-old people in D.C. as adults. That was their big thing, to get the National Guards on the street. But now all of a sudden, these are just kids, especially young boys. There were women in this chat stream as well. So all of this is bullshit.
Kids do. And I really don't want us to grow up in a country where a kid telling a stupid joke, telling a very offensive stupid joke, is cause to ruin their lives.
That's what kids do. Vice President J.D. Vance earlier today commenting again on a Politico story involving members of young Republicans' organizations and thousands of leaked messages where they're seen exchanging hate, racist, and homophobic texts. The vice president choosing there not to condemn the messages, instead dismissing it as, quote, what kids do, and that, quote, kids do stupid things, especially young boys. The organization in question is for Republicans between the ages of 18 and 40. Kids. Anyway, according to Politico, the Telegram group chats involve Republican operatives, and at least one case, an elected official. Inside those messages, one referred to black people as, quote, monkeys and, quote, watermelon people. One talked about sending political opponents to gas chambers. Another called rape, quote, epic. Prominent Republicans like Congresswoman Elise Stefanik were quick to condemn the messages. The young Republicans denounced the text as vile and inexcusable. Politico reports that at least one person lost their job, while another had a job offer rescinded. At least two of the people involved have apologized.
So Elise Stefanik, she was the one who, what did he had a position for her, and then he 45-47 nominated her for a position that needed to be she had to be voted in by Congress, and then he pulled her nomination because he needed her in that seat. So he nominated her to be the envoy to Israel, to Israel. And then he pulled that nomination, and she is such a big Israeli supporter, and that would have been her the ambassador to Israel. That would have been a dream position for her. So then after he pulled her nomination because they couldn't lose another Republican seat in Congress, so she immediately came out with that position, but now she has clarified her position. She stepped back from her position about how disappointing. What did she say? What did Stefanik say? What did Elise Stefanik say?
Young Republicans denounced the text as vile and inexcusable. Politico reports that at least one person lost their job, while another had a job offer rescinded. At least two of the people involved have apologized. My panel is back. The Arena text chain is also with us. Tulu, the messages. The young Republicans, quote, epic. Prominent Republicans like Congresswoman Elise Stefanik were quick to condemn the messages. The Young Republicans denounced the text.
She was quick to condemn the messages. She has come back and she has said that it was a hit piece. She has come back and said something that she initially condemned. She said that it was a political hit piece. Now, ignoring exactly what was said in these streams, not denying what was said in this stream. Now it was a hit piece on the people. The people who said all of this shit were being attacked in a hit piece. But none of them denied that they said it.
As vile and inexcusable. Politico reports that at least one person lost their job, while another had a job offer rescinded. At least two of the people involved have apologized. My panel is back. The Arena text chain is also with us. Tolu, I want to sort of start with you on the big picture. You've spent a lot of time thinking and writing about how race and politics intersect here, and the coarsening of the discourse that is seen on display in these texts is really, well, how do you interpret the reality that these groups, these groups of people felt like this was an appropriate thing?
Now, you see, Scott Jennings, I guess I'm more worried about that than some moronic text messages among random people. Now, he wants you to believe that these are just some random people when these are actually leaders, young leaders in the Republican Congress, Republican Party, and one is actual sitting state senator. Some are working in the what is it? I think the is it the chamber department? Yeah, I think it's the chamber department up in DC. Okay. Now, they were more than moronic. They were vile, racist, sexist, and violent. And they were of leaders, potential young leaders in the Republican Party. And he's trying to make it seem like they got them from people who had no power, who were just talking among themselves. No, these are Republican leaders. So get the fuck out of my face. They always want to downplay their racism. And why isn't Scott Jennings crying about all of the anti-Semitism that they were crying about because people were protesting what was going on in Palestine, calling them Hamas sympathizers, and what they were doing was anti-Semitic, so colleges should lose their funding because they're full of shit.
To do.
Well, it's shocking to see this in public. You have to imagine that this does happen from time to time in these private group chats. I don't want to say that this is representative of all young Republicans, not at all, but it is something that has become more common, and it's something that Donald Trump, we have to mention the president here, the leader of the party, has made more common. He talks about very coarse language when he talks about his political opponents. He has opened the door to some of this kind of language, and we see the lack of condemnation from someone like J.D. Vance saying that these are just kids, they're just being edgy. And there is a difference between when someone says something that's offensive, that's from a different party. Those kinds of people, in the minds of Donald Trump and his allies, they get deported, or they get shunned, or they get told that they need to lose their jobs. You have to remember what happened after Charlie Kirk was murdered. There is an opportunity for leaders to condemn both sides. If someone on your side says something that's horrendous and offensive, you can condemn it while also condemning it happening on the other side. But there is a certain sense of hypocrisy that if something happens among my political allies, they're just kids and they need to be forgiven and given a lot of grace. If someone on the opposite side of the aisle says something that's offensive, they need to get the hammer put down on them.
So I want to play for you, Tolu, something else that J.D. Vance said here today. We'll watch it because I think it plays into the point Tolu was just making. Take a look.
We're not canceling kids because they do something stupid in a group chat And if I have to be the person who carries that message forward, I'm fine with it. And by the way, if they were left-wing kids telling stupid left-wing jokes, I would also not want their lives to be ruined because they're saying something stupid in a private group chat.
First of all, having a little bit of accountability, potentially losing a job or having, a role where you're.
First of all, these are not jokes. This is hate speech. These are not jokes. This is hate speech. Now, this is coming from the administration, who is saying that if you protest your government on this Saturday at this No King protest, they are calling you Antifa. They are saying you're going to a hate American rally. And let's not forget this NS PM-7 memorandum that 4547 put out, saying that Antifa are terrorists. Now, okay, so I put the link in the description box. Why is this important? Why is this important? They try to say anything people on the left say is terrorism. I want to share my screen with you. If you're not subscribed to uh, Ken Klippenstein's newsletter, his Substack, you may want to subscribe to him. This is called Inside the War on Antifa. Let me save that to put in my description box. Feds target Antifa groups, the groups, informant networks, the Tide Foundation, and more. Okay, so the FBI and the Homeland Security Department are actively investigating Antifa individuals and organizations that the Trump administration has branded domestic terrorists. So, be clear. When you hear them say that the people who are marching on Saturday on this No Kings protest, they if they are calling them Antifa, what they are really saying is they are deeming these people to be terrorists, and they are actively going into financial information by people who they are deeming to be Antifa. So therefore, they are deeming you to be terrorists. So therefore, they are going through people financial information. And people know that there is absolutely no organization called Antifa that has members. That is an idea for people who are against fascism. That is what the nickname Antifa stands for. There are no membership. That is a mindset of people who are anti-fascist. So let's be clear. While they're trying to make you believe that the Antifa are somebody like the Proud Boys who they definitely don't try to see who financed them. The Proud Boys, who is an actual group who they give pardons to for beating police and trying to stop the election process. They don't examine anything about them. A actual real group who they scrub from FBI files as being some of the worst. The what are they? It's not the Proud Boys by itself. Right fascists being the biggest terror to the United States, but are they investigating them? No, they're investigating you and trying to call you a terrorist if you say anything against this administration, and trying to pretend like if you do so, you a member of this imaginary group, and therefore they have to make this imaginary declare that this imaginary group of people That's why I wanted to play them, not say anything. Oh, these are kids and they made jokes. That was no. Were no kids and those were no jokes. So if they were talking about Charlie Kirk, now they want to this is the same man who told people to dox people if they said something on their social media against Charlie Kirk. But now these people who are spewing this hate speech as representatives of the Republican Party, they're kids telling jokes. So I don't know. I can't say this more. The FBI and Homeland Security Department are actively investigating Antifa, individuals and organizations that the 4547 administration has branded domestic terrorists. Actions so far include collecting intelligence on Antifa affinity groups. Not just that we're calling you. If we consider you an affinity group, canvassing the FBI vast information network for tips about Antifa and scrutinizing financial records. Two sources involved in the investigation tell me. While major media organizations continue to downplay the crackdown and virtually ignore the underlying executive order and related national security directive, NSPM7. Let me show you what the NSPM7 says again. Okay. National Security Directive identifying anti-Christian and anti-American views as indicators of radical left violence. They called the National Security Presidential Memorandum 7 is being referred to as NSPM 7 by administrators insiders. This is the first time in American history that there is an all of government effort to dismantle left-wing terrorism. 4547's Homeland Security advisor Stephen Miller said, referring to the issuance. To the extent that the major media noticed the directive at all, they, meaning C-SPAN, incorrectly labeled it an executive order, like this week's designation of Antifa as a domestic terrorism organization. Okay, so it is hard to overstate how much different the NSPM7 is from over 200 executive orders. 4547 has frenetically signed since coming back in office. The executive order publicly lays out the course of the day-to-day federal government operation, whereas a national security directive is a sweeping policy decree for the defense, foreign policy, intelligence, and law enforcement apparatus. National security directives are often secret, but in this case, the administration chose to publish the NSPM 7 only the 7th since coming into his office. Previous national security directives have been controversial, even politically earth-shaking. In 1980, for example, President Jimmy Carter signed the top-secret presidential directive 59, directing new nuclear war-fighting policies that persisted into the end of the Cold War. When revealed, PD 59 caused a public furor. Okay. Similarly, I don't want to go in the future. I want to tell you what this NSP 7 now. Countering domestic terrorism by organized political violence. 4547 directs the Justice Department and the FBI and other national security agents and departments to fight this version of political violence in America, retooling a network of joint terrorism task force to focus on leftist political violence in America. This vast counterterrorism army made up of federal, state, and local agencies would, as Trump aide Stephen Miller said, form the central hub of that effort. NSPM7 directs new national strategy to disrupt any individuals or groups, so they can see you standing up for your rights, expressing yourself, which is legal in this country, as an individual, and say that you are a terrorist because you are doing so. Individuals or groups that foment political violence, including before they result in violent political acts. So they can say that you as an individual are promoting violence, even though you have not promoted violence before you what you're doing result in a violent political act. They can say that you're creating a violent and political act, even if it doesn't happen, before it happens, which means it does not happen. But they can say that that is what you're doing. Do you understand this? Before they result in violent political acts. NSP M7 directs a new national strategy to disrupt any individual or group that foment political violence, including before they result in violent political acts. So it's bullshit. So whoever they say, you're causing violence. No violence happened behind what I said. Well, under NS MP7, you are. In other words, they're targeting pre-crimes to preference the Minority Report. The 4547 administration isn't only targeting organizations or groups, but even individuals, entities whom the NSPM7 says can be identified by any of the following indicators of violence. Now, they have some indicators. What indicates that you are a threat? What indicates that you are part of an organization or an entity? What are they using to identify this for? If you say something that they say is anti-Americanism, now we do understand that they are labeling this No Kings protest as the Hate American rally. Why do you think that they are calling this No Kings rally the Hate America rally? So if you show up to a No Kings rally, which is actually which is actually about hating the fact that America is becoming something that the Constitution guaranteed against. Actually, you're showing up because you are protesting what America was actually founded on. Now, all of a sudden, you are going to a hate American rally. Get it? Okay, so the indicators are any anti-Americanism, any anti-capitalism, any anti-Christianity. And we know how they have perverted Christianity in this Republican Party, white nationalists, Christian nationalists, which is in fact white nationalists, support for the overthrow of the United States government, extremism on migration. So if they say that you are being extreme on migration or immigration. That's the extremism on migration. Extremism on race. So extremism on race. But when they hear the hate that came from those young Republicans, they said that they are just kids and we're not going to ruin a kid's life for telling jokes. That was extremism on race by their very own party that they ignore. But they are trying to call anybody who says something against this administration and the way they are trampling over the fucking Constitution of the United States. They are trying to call you a terrorist. Understand that. Extremism on gender, hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on family. So if you're people who hold traditional American views on family can be hostile towards trans people. They can be hostile towards gay people, but you cannot be hostile towards them for while they can be hostile towards other people. Traditional American views on family. What is that? Our view on hating gays and trans. That's what it is. Hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on religion. What is traditional American views on a religion? So you can be considered a terrorist. And even if no act of terror happens, they can say that because you said that you are against traditional American views on the family, because you think this way, you hold hostility towards traditional American views on religion. Hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on morality. You can be considered a terrorist in this country under this memorandum if if they want to say you are holding hostile views towards traditional American views on morality. So the Republican Party is the one who says what is traditional American views and what is moral. As they ignore all of that fucking hate speech and all of that fucking hate talk that were in the fucking young Republicans text thread. But they telling you that they will hold you as a terrorist. Be clear. I just want you to be clear. The United States requires a national strategy to investigate and disrupt networks, entities, organizations that foment political violence so that law enforcement can intervene in criminal conspiracy before they result in violent actions into violent political acts. The directive states. A pre-crime endeavor preventing attacks before they happen is core to the post 9/11 concept of counterterrorism itself. No longer satisfied to investigate acts of terrorism after the fact to bring terrorists to justice, the Bush administration adopted preemptive overseas that led to aerial assassination by drones and special operation kill mission. Domestically, it led to a counterterrorism campaign whose hallmark was executive and illegal government surveillance and the use of undercover agents and confidential human sources to trap and entrap would-be terrorists. Now, with Donald Trump's directive retooling the counterterrorist apparatus to go after Americans at home, this means monitoring political activity or speech as an investigative method to discover radicalism. Contrary to other national security documents all during the post-Watergate era, NSPM 7 doesn't even mention the First Amendment or fundamental rights of Americans to organize and protest. The focus on speech is evident throughout the NSPM7. The directive says that political violence as the result of organized campaigns that often begin with the left often begins with the left dehumanizing targets in anonymous chat forums. Now, so therefore, what wasn't of these Republicans dehumanizing targets in anonymous chat? I think it's supposed to be forums, in-person meetings, social media, and even educational instructions. So even if you're a teacher, that you can be deemed a terrorist while they ignore what happened in the chat forum of these Republicans. To give a sense of how broad this formulation is, 4547 earlier designation of Antifa as domestic terrorist group was accompanied by a White House fact sheet singling out people who celebrated Luigi Mangione, the alleged killer of the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson last December. This describes a lot of Americans, and it actually does because of what the insurance industry is doing with healthcare. Trump's new national security memorandum also alludes to Mangione, but adds to it even larger categories of political target. NSPM7 is fundamentally a law enforcement directive, and it dispenses with the complications of using the active duty military or the National Guard in pursuit of political violence. It directs the Department of Justice to focus the FBI's approximately 200 Joint Terrorism Task Force to the new mission. The FBI network of task force comprises over 4,000 members, including FBI personnel and task force officers from more than 500 state and local agencies and 50 federal agencies, including special agent, police officer, intelligence analysis, and surveillance technician. First established in New York City in 1980 to systemize the FBI and the NYPD cooperation. Today, there are task force around the country, including at least one in each of the FBI 55 field offices. So let's get back to the No Kings Day. While major media organizations continue to downplay the crackdown and virtually ignore the underlying executive order and related national security directives, NSP7, which I just went through a little of it with you, that are driving the new crusade. Sources say that the investigation will likely rival in scope of those conducted under the Biden administration on January 6 perpetrators. So the January 6 perpetrators who were climbing all on the White House and who was trying to prevent the election from being certified are going to go through less investigation than if you show up at one of these king protests. Now we also know these ICE agents, they pulled over a 16-year-old black kid, and they asked him for ID. He said he didn't have his ID, and then one of the ICE agents says, "So, do you have your face ID thing with you?" So they are actually using face identity technology out here in ICE. So do you think that they will not be using it to scan everybody who is in these rallies. We know that Palantir has contracts with the FBI. They say all damn near all agencies in the government that go by three letters: CIA, FBI. All of these agencies have contracts with Palantir, and that is one of their expertise in developing face identity technology that can identify who is in the crowd. They can tell you everybody who is in a group of people. This is what your government is doing, but they can't give you health care. And if they decide to say that you are a terrorist based on the criterias that I read to you in that NSPM 7, this is what your government is planning to do to you. So are you going to be scared? Because that's what they want you to do, is to be scared. That's what they don't want you to do, is to show up and enforce and protest what you have the right to do under the Constitution. You know, the Constitution that they are running all over. That should be reason enough for you to want to protest within your rights of the Constitution. You're not doing anything illegal if you don't do anything illegal. And protesting your government is not illegal, but they're trying to scare you away. While you have stupid, dumb bitches out here talking about they can't wait until the National Guard come out here because they gonna show them. No, they gonna show you, stupid. They're gonna show you. The fuck you think they doing this for? This ain't to scare them. This is to scare you, to keep you in order. To let you believe that exercising your constitutional right is against the law, bitch. But you don't even know what your constitutional rights are. So you sitting up there waiting on motherfucking fights to happen like this is the Mo 3 sector or some bullshit. Because you don't even know your own rights. You know a bunch of bullshit. Anyway. Okay, so lawsuits will undoubtedly follow, as will much belly aching about the 45-47 team not allowing established not following established procedures. But no one should doubt the orders that have come down on high to destroy Antifa, a senior career Homeland Security official told me. At a White House roundtable event about the threat about Antifa last week, 45-47 and other administration officials likened the loose and anti-fascist anarchist collection to a international terrorist group or a organized crime syndicate. You know, kind of like the organized family members from the organized crime syndicate from Mexico, that 45-47 and the Bondi Justice Department from El Chapo, who allowed 17 of his family members to come into the United States, walk through the Mexican borders into the United States to be taken away in cars, and they were allowed to have X amount of suitcase, X amount of cash money, and the Department of Justice said the media is not allowed to ask them any questions about it. Has your for-profit media asked any questions to the DOJ about any of this? Has any of your congressmen and senators asked any questions in any of these oversight meetings about why 17 members of the El Chapo family members were allowed to enter the United States with cash? No, not at all. Not at all. Antifa is just as sophisticated as MS-13 and the Trinidad Araga, as ISIS, as Hezbollah, as Hamas, as all of them. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem said at the event. So we are to believe that this Antifa group of these people who are protesting their government legally, who they want to define as terrorists, these Antifa people are just as sophisticated as ISIS, Hezbollah, Hamas, and all of them, according to the dress up puppy killing Kristi Noem. Fighting crime is more than just getting the bad guy off of the street, added Attorney General Pam Bimbo. It's breaking down the organization brick by brick, just like we did with the cartels. So you broke them down brick by the cartels, brick by brick. So did you allow them to carry those bricks in those suitcases when you brought the family members of the cartels over to the United States? Were some bricks in those suitcases that they were able to bring over here so they can rebuild in the United States? Pam Bimbo, what they do with them bricks that you broke down? Huh, Pam Bimbo? Oh, we can't ask about those cartel family members, but you want to sit up here and use cartels as an example, but can't nobody ask you why you let family members of the cartels into the United States, bitch. The fuck out of here. But they don't want you to protest. They talking this dumb shit to you that you have your constitutional rights to do. What we're doing at the FBI is simple, said FBI Director Kakai Patel. We are following the money. Where did you follow that money that was in the suitcase of those cartel members that y'all ushered into the United States? Where did that money lead you? We are following the money. Money never lies. And that's what it's going to take to bring down this network of organized criminal thugs, gangbanger, and yes, domestic terrorists, because that's what they are. Understand? They're talking about the people who are going to be at this No Kings rally. This is not about terrorism. This is about the No Kings rally. At one point, 4547 instructed several prominent conservative media figures present, all of them who said they've been victimized by Antifa. I showed you some of those buffoons in action in Portland, trying to incite the protesters, and then they themselves got arrested, and then they said that it was the Antifa protesters, and the one blonde bimbo who said that she got punched in the eye and she followed Antifa to their safe house, and she has all the information, but she presented none of this information. All she had was a fucking spew of lies that were coming out of her mouth. She knew their safe house. She had been following them. They come off and shit. You think she'd had some video evidence that she wanted to show? No, she was just there talking dumb shit. And this is who Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Justice, the head of the FBI, and your actual president were entertaining about alleged Antifa members. So they can put up a ploy to try to make this No Kings rally less popular, less effective. Fewer people come out if he tells you that he's looking to charge you as terrorists, because of how successful the last march on his birthday was all across this nation. To keep people at home, he's telling you that he's going to designate anybody that shows up to these marches as Antifa, and he's already put into a memorandum what classifies people as Antifa, and he's already also said that you don't even have to commit a crime. He's going to consider something that could be a pre-crime as terrorism. make any of this make sense, because he is so embarrassed that people will show up, because all of his agendas, all of that, what he's doing in the United States is unpopular, and people who have the right to speak out about it are going to speak out about it, to the point that he is talking about shooting live missiles into Camp Pendleton in California. He is going to be shooting missiles into California on that day, talking about he's celebrating the military. I thought you celebrated the military on your birthday. How odd is it that they are calling this uh the what is it? Hate America march. All of this fucking bullshit. Okay. Okay, here we go. At one point, President Trump instructed several prominent conservative media figures. They're prominent conservative media figures. I guess they would be prominent in the conservative area of YouTube, of the social media, not actual televised media, all of whom said that they've been victimized by Antifa for reporting on them, to share their knowledge with top national security officials. He invited all of these YouTubers who said that they have been victimized by Antifa to share their knowledge with top national security advisors. So this is who your top national security advisors are spending time with as they suspend looking out for real worldwide people who are looking to harm the United States. They have suspended many FBI investigations into keeping America safe from people abroad, to go after these alleged Antifa boogeyman who allegedly gave this bitch a black eye. And she can't say who it is, or she don't have a picture of it. I searched for her for 35 minutes in Portland. Police wouldn't arrest her, but I have no picture of her. In the age of everybody got a motherfucking camera. She has no video footage of her telling the Portland police, this is who hit me in the eye. No footage, just her verbal lies. And this is who your president told the main people in the top national security officials to get her story so she can lead them to Antifa. Can you believe this shit? Okay. Do you know the name of any funders? 4547 X the round table. Because if you do, I'd like you to give them to Cash, Pam, or Christy as soon as you can. Didn't they come up? Since she had investigated them and she knew where their safe house was, surely there was no answers. There were absolutely no answers to this. The floundering attempts to actually find an organized Antifa entity reflects a virtually 180-degree turn from previous government articulations of the group. Former FBI Director Christopher Wray told Congress that although Antifa is a real thing, it is not a group or an organization. Wray instead likened Antifa to a movement or an ideology. Now, they are trying to say that this is an actual group. Not believing that Antifa doesn't have an overall organizational structure, the 4547 administration is now setting out to find one, according to the Homeland Security source. And this is circulating or affinity groups as the ascribe to the Antifa ideology. These including Rose City Antifa in Portland, Oregon, Refuse Fascism, Anti-Racist Action, ARA, Redneck Revolt, and the John Brown Gun Club. The official said that this list comes from nothing more sophisticated than internet searches at right-wing influencers channels. So now these people are going to be put on this alleged Antifa list based upon these internet searches from right wing YouTubers who say that they are part of Antifa. This is what your government is doing for you. I guess it's cheaper than spending money. Get these motherfuckers who want to increase their pages, increase their viewership to get paid what money to get paid more money. So this is what these are the investigations. These are the people who are giving your highest FBI, Department of Justice tips on who is Antifa. Okay, let me finish this. This week, conservative commentator Glenn Beck said the 3 FBI agents visited him at his home last Saturday to glean insight about Antifa based on the research he and his team had done for stories. Glenn Beck is having FBI visiting him. You know, the same Glenn Beck who the Supreme Court just ruled that no, motherfucker, you have to pay all of the damages that you call by saying that the Sandy Hook shooting no kids were killed there, that they were all actors and it was a false flag and it was fake, and you have to pay over $1 billion, I believe, to the families who sued your ass for saying that they did not lose their children. This is the Glenn Beck that the FBI is trying to get information on about Antifa based upon the research he and his team did for stories. They're trying to get information from him about Antifa, who is crying to the Supreme Court, who filed for bankruptcy and thought that he wouldn't have to pay these families who won this money for him for being a disgusting liar. This is who the FBI is trying to get information on about Antifa. This is the person that the government is trying to get information on about Antifa, who after bankruptcy didn't allow him to get out of paying these families. He then went and tried to hide his money so he wouldn't have to pay these families. This is who the FBI is trying to get information on, who the Supreme Court just ruled on that, no, you're not protected. You have to pay the money. Okay. To say the FBI was interested in this might be an understatement, Beck said on his show. Let's just say the FBI is turning over every single stone. So it is so clear to me that they are exploring all angles of this and that they are talking to anyone and everyone that can give them any kind of information. So it should let you know, it should really let you know that Cockeye Patel is not the man to be over the FBI, because they're going to Glenn back these YouTube scammers, and if there was any serious investigation, the people who they are going to get this information would not be of the blend back caliber. The people who would really have this real information would not be out here saying it on their own show. The FBI came to me to find out what I had. If somebody really had something, they sure wouldn't want you to know that whatever the FBI get, it may have come from them. So the FBI declined to comment on Beck's account as well as the Bureau's canvassing of its informants, citing the government shutdown during the current lapse in appropriation. FBI operations are directed toward national security violation of federal law and essential public safety function. The Bureau of National Press Office respond to an email. Media inquiries outside of the functions would be considered when the lapse in appropriations end. So we can't talk about anything until the government shutdown is over. The NSPM 7, the Trump directive tasking federal law enforcement with rooting out domestic terrorists like Antifa, also instructed the Treasury Department to look into non-profit groups that might be funding them. The directive resulted in the prominent law firms advising their non-profit clients to avoid running afoul of the order, as I previously reported. I also want to thank our Treasury Secretary for his work on getting to the bottom of these funding mechanisms and individuals who are perpetrating this violence in our American cities, Noam said at the round table. The Homeland official says two funders are being scrutinized: the Tides Foundation and Neville Roy Singham, an American multi-millionaire who is known to provide support to leftist causes. Again, the official says that the organizations were chosen because they have been written about by right-wing media, not news media. We're talking about influencers media. Now, nobody can finance anything on the left, but but Elon Musk can finance 4547's bid to the White House. All of these rich people can sit in front of Trump as he shows his tunnels and finance. You gave a lot of money. You gave a lot of money to this ballroom. You understand how that works? Anything on the right can be financed, but they are investigating people who finance any voice on the left as terrorists. Okay, so this link is going to be in my description box. It seems like I'm going to have to talk about the Supreme Court. Is looking like the Supreme Court is not going to rule favorably on the Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. It seems like the Voting Rights Act will be taken away by the Supreme Court. So let me see. What should I put this under? I'm going to put this under protest. Protest terror. So that link that I just left you is in the description box under protest terror. They are trying to classify protesters as terrorists. So I have the links in my description box. And that's all I have time for today. I'm sorry I didn't get to what I wanted to say about Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. Hold on. So thank you guys for coming out. I appreciate your support. Hey, Nisi, how are you doing? Gotta go now. Someone called me needing a favor. Thank you. Thank you, Nisi, for being here. So I will we will talk about the Voting Rights Act on tomorrow because unfortunately I got off track and I have to go as well. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you guys for stopping by. Like and share the information, and remember Saturday there is going to be a No King protest. Now, I have a couple of things that I wanted to remind you about as well, and my media assets. Johnson signs the voting rights bill and orders immediate enforcement. Forces will challenge a poll tax. Capital is seen. I don't know what that is. Okay. I also wanted you to see the effect of the Voting Rights Act going into effect, that how black voter registration and representation increase in southern states. I'm not cities, states. It really helps southern states. Supreme Supreme Court invalidates key parts of the Voting Rights Act. That was in 2013 when Justice Roberts dismantled Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act. These are some of the things that I will be talking about you. How GOP-backed voting measures could create hurdles for tens of millions of voters. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. And if you don't remember anything, remember who this administration is trying to uh, shadow and impersonate and basically follow after. If you don't remember anything, if you're wondering why all of this stuff is happening, understand. If you're okay with it, sit your ass at home. Just like a lot of motherfuckers set their ass at home and didn't go out and vote. And that's why we are in this situation in the first place. But you have the right to protest your government. You have the legal right to protest your government. You don't have the right to commit crimes. You never had the right to commit crimes. But what is not illegal is protesting your government. It is a protective act under the Constitution of the United States of America. Go over there and watch some Schoolhouse Rock. It seems like some of y'all act like y'all don't know. All right. Have a great day. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate your support. Tell a friend. And that's it and that's all. All right. Bye-bye.